Assalamu alaikum girls. We are continuing the main components of computer systems from our last theory lesson, which is from chapter 1 of types and components of computer systems. Today we will be covering all the points that we did not cover in the last lesson. The objectives from the syllabus that we are trying to cover today is to define what are input and output devices and what is the main difference between them. We will also try to define secondary or backing storage today. The success criteria at the end of today's lesson that you need to aim to achieve is that you must be able to list the differences between input and output devices. And as today's activity, you have to complete the quiz that will be shown to you. As a starter for today's lesson, I have a crossword for you in which you can try to find the maximum peripheral devices hidden in it. Peripheral devices means the input and the output devices. So, for example, you can just print out this crossword and try to solve it. If you look carefully, you will find many devices that you are already aware of. For example, there is keyboard over here. Keyboard is an input device. Once you complete your starter, you can get back to the lesson. I showed you last theory lesson that the main components of a computer system can be divided into four, and last lesson we discussed CPU, hard disk and RAM and ROM. What we are going to discuss today is the first three, which is input device, output device and secondary storage device. For example, when you talk about input and output devices, you can remember this screen in front of you. The input devices include devices such as your keyboard, which we found in the crossword, optical pen, joystick, scanner, barcode reader, and so on. Why are these called input devices? Because they take data from the external world and into the computer. For example, when you type in a key, this key goes as data inside the computer. When you scan, a photo is scanned and goes inside the computer. Here you can see the output devices. For example, a headphone or headset. A headphone takes the sound from inside the computer and puts it out into the external world for you to hear. A screen and a printer both take data inside the computer and show it to the outside world for you. Speaker is also an example of an output device where the sound from inside the computer is let into the outside world. And you can see here that there is a common section where devices that are have both input and output are shown here. Why is a touch screen both an input and output device? Because a touch screen allows you to give input using the touch pad and it allows you to see output using the screen outside. The webcam allows you to take your picture using as an input device and then you see it on the screen as an output device. A digital camera allows you to take photo as an input device and you can view it on the camera as an output device. Now we see that many devices need to be connected to a computer to allow data to be processed, to be sent inside the computer by input and to be sent outside the computer by output. The general name given for these extra devices is peripheral devices. This is an important word for you to remember. Now, peripheral devices are categorized further into three, which is input device, output device, and storage device. As we saw, input devices were those that can pass data into the computer. The devices that take data from the computer are known as output devices. And those devices which do neither of input and output but are used for storage externally are called storage devices. Storage devices or secondary storage devices also have another name. It is also called backing storage devices. Backing storage means that the storage you have is external to the computer, it is non-volatile, and the data is not lost when the computer is turned off. So why would you use these secondary storage devices? For example, a USB drive, your memory card, an external hard drive, and so on. We use it when we want to store data for a long time. That is, we want to store data externally for a long time. In a storage device, data can be read from and written to. And usually users do this when they want to make copies of their original files on the backing storage. So we need to remember backing storage is also known as secondary storage. It is non-volatile, it is not like the RAM. Data is not lost when the computer is turned off. You can read from it and write to it. It is used to store data for a long time as a backup copy of your original file. Today's homework is that you need to go to this link and you will find some quizzes there which need to be completed. The NGARDE quiz is the seventh game on these four topics which we have to complete. So once you open this link, you will see these quizzes here. This is the seventh game, NGARDE. Complete this for the topics that we covered in this theory lesson and the one before. So that is input device, play this game, quiz, output device, play this quiz, memory, this quiz, and storage devices, this quiz. Once you complete the four quizzes, that will be your homework done for today. As a plenary, let's recap what we were doing last lesson, which is the differences between RAM and ROM. RAM stands for random access memory, ROM stands for read-only memory. The RAM stores data during and after processing, and the ROM is actually stored by the manufacturer. You can only read from it, you can never make changes to it. RAM always stores the data temporarily. The ROM stores data permanently. It can never be changed. The RAM is very fast, but it uses a lot of power. So which is why whenever you want to make your computer faster, you will add more RAM chips to it. The ROM is also fast, but it uses very little power. The RAM is volatile, which means that the data is lost when the computer is turned off. The ROM is non-volatile, which means the data is still maintained even after the computer is turned off. That's all for today, girls. Once you finish your four quizzes, you can submit them on, you can turn in your assignment in Teams so that the teacher knows that you are done with all your four quizzes. That's all for today, girls. Have a good day ahead of you. Assalamu alaikum.